Hey guys, Deju22 here, and we are ready to start off the continuation of the wrestling series, but this time on WWE 2K18. But before we continue, I'm just going to tell you some of the changes that have been made. This is just a lead into the next series of videos, but very simply, we've changed a couple of things, and as I mentioned in the showcase before, I think it was part 3, or I'll have to get back to that, but I mentioned before that that the old limit in the older game, the 2013 version, you could have the limit was 30 competitors or 30 custom wrestlers that you can make, which was really bad because once you get past that, then what? Then you have to start, taking out wrestlers and replacing them, and it was just it was kind of a drag. And one of the people that was going to get replaced was Matthew Cole, but then he mentioned that, well, he kind of, to make a long story short, he wanted to come back. And I thought to myself, well, if I ever did get WWE 2K18, I would get him back, and sure enough, I did. Storyline-wise, he wanted to renegotiate his contract, so I did do that, and I thought that what he was requesting was fair, and as a result, he is back in, as well as the fact that he is one half of the tag team champions coming into this. So I just wanted to get that little part out of the way, which then leads me to how the show is going to be doing, how the show is going to work. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but right here, if you can look at the bottom of the screen, it says on 1970 to 1989. Well, basically, I thought to myself, well, this game spans as far back as 1970 all the way up to today. So I thought to myself, well, what could I do to, spice things up? Because I couldn't just split it in half, because then that would just be way too much. So I thought, well, I could do 3 eras with 1970 to 1989. So basically, the way in terms of who makes the rosters, based on like the era, as you see, I thought to myself, if anybody started in 1970 to 1989, or they wrestled primarily on that time, that's where they would go. And some guys can overlap. Like some guys could have started in the 80s or maybe even in the 70s and made their way into the 90s on later. Like Bret Hart, for instance, he started in, I think it was the late 70s, but he was really young at the time. And he continued all the way until 1999. So that's how, Bret Hart would, bridge the gap between this era to this era. And then there are some guys that started in the 90s, maybe even during the 2000s, that also bridged the gap to 2010 to the present. So that's practically how I'm going to divide the series by era. And of course, because whenever we do a show in 1970 to 1989, it's going to take place in an old stadium. And then here, 1990 to 2009, slightly newer. And then you have the current status of arenas. And then this is a special show that can bridge 2 gaps or 2 eras with one another. It's kind of like the Heat that I had in the older games. And then these are the pay-per-views, which I will take care of that. We'll get to that when we get to it. But with that said, now that I've explained how this is going to work, stay tuned. We're going to have the first show start right after this. And we are here in Long Beach, California, in our television studio, or one of our television studios, and Here is Sergeant Slaughter. As he makes his way down to the ring, for those of you who have never seen Sergeant Slaughter, basically he is a former member of the Army, and when he left, he was a sergeant, and hence that's pretty much how he came to be, because you don't just become a sergeant by naming yourself that. You had to have earned it, and earned it he did, as he is waving the colors of the USA, the red, white, and blue. As he makes his salute to the flag. And of course the fans love him. Who doesn't? But unfortunately, here we have Donald J. Trump. And I'll tell you one thing, these fans don't like him. Some of these fans think he is full of himself, and I tend to agree with them. I don't disagree with the fact that he makes money. It's not so much the fact that he makes more money than even I do outside of the ring, but it's the fact that he comes off as a pompous... I would call him a lot of other things, but to say that he's pompous would just be scratching the surface, because he's full of himself. Nonetheless, however, as Sergeant Slaughter is about to enter the other side of the ring... Oh yeah, go ahead and show your guns. Because Sergeant Slaughter has more guns in him than you'll ever have, Trump. That much I can tell you right now. But yeah, I mean, we have a rabid audience here in our television studio. Anyway, match underway. And a neck breaker onto Donald Trump. Now, of course, for those of you wondering, how does a Falls Count Anywhere match work? It's very simple. There are no rules, although Donald Trump beats him to the punch and drop kicks him. Nice set of moves by Donald Trump. So anyone who thought he can't wrestle, he can. It's just I don't agree with his personality, but be that as it may. Right now, wait a minute. Nice reversal by Sergeant Slaughter and a neck breaker onto Donald Trump. Nice takedown onto Sergeant Slaughter. And now just going to continue to pound away on him, and a suplex onto Sergeant Slaughter. Now, for those of you wondering, how does a Falls Count Anywhere match work? It's very simple. The match can start in the ring, but it can end outside. And how far it goes is dependent on how far these two men are willing to go to practically beat the hell out of each other. And another suplex onto Sergeant Slaughter. I think the Sergeant might have underestimated how strong Donald Trump is. But now going for a camel clutch, although Sergeant Slaughter breaks out of it and reverses it. Although he exits the ring, and Donald Trump follows in after him. Oh, and rammed into the post was Donald Trump. And of course, the referee is going to follow him, because this is a match that can take place outside the ring as it can take place in it. And Sergeant Slaughter had used the chair onto the sternum. But now Trump taking over on onto Slaughter. Slaughter reverses that. A nice uppercut onto Trump. Oh, Trump actually manages to avoid it. Now Trump, nope, never mind. Trump took away the chair. And a slam right to Donald Trump on the floor. Then a knee right to the back. And of course the fans are loving this. Oh, and one right to the butt of Donald Trump. Although Trump, what's he going to do with him? Oh, slammed him right up against the barricade. One. Nope, just a one count on Sergeant Slaughter. Excuse me. And a suplex. Oh, right up against the barricade. Then a knee right to the head of Slaughter. Oh, nice fireman's carry drop onto Trump. And a two-handed slam onto Trump using a chokehold. But then a nice reversal from Trump. Nope, countered by Slaughter. Now thrown back in the ring is Trump. So now the match takes place back inside the ring. Ooh, nice punch right to Slaughter from Trump. Oh, now a pinfall cover. One, no. Kick out at 1. Ooh, nice counter by Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, of course this match is going to come down to who wants it badly. And better yet, who can dish it and who can take it. The one who can dish it and take it the best is the one that's going to win. And now Trump, what's he going to set him up for here? Oh, he's got that fist. And plants it right in the head of Sergeant Slaughter. And now Sergeant Slaughter has now been busted open. And then a nice, I think it's called a spine buster, I think. Now he picks up Slaughter. But Slaughter counters with an arm drag. But Trump is still going to go on the attack here. And just going to choke out Sergeant Slaughter. And Slaughter is in a whole lot of trouble. If he doesn't do something soon, this match might be over before... I don't know. I mean, this match will be over sooner rather than later. And now a chin lock. But it's enough to get Sergeant Slaughter to tap out. So the winner is Donald Trump. So, of course the fans don't like the outcome of the match, but, I mean, Trump, he took the punishment and he gave it right back. Here you see a two-handed choke slam, but then a spine buster right to Donald Trump, or from Donald Trump to Slaughter, I should say, excuse me. And here's what happened towards... Actually, we don't even get to see that. But... Wow, Trump, you, come on. You won the match. I think you've made your point here. But folks, we still have more matches yet to come, so stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. But, yeah, that first match we had with Donald Trump, and... already we are going into our match right now. So we have two big guys. You have Typhoon, who's in the ring right now with a beard, a full-blown beard. And then his partner on the far left corner of your screen is Earthquake. And the man in white is Jimmy Garvin. And on the near part of your screen, on the right, and then the near corner of the right-hand part of your screen is Michael P.S. Hayes, and together they are the Freebirds. So you have the Natural Disasters against the Freebirds. But right now, Jimmy Garvin has a chin lock onto Typhoon. Of course, you're not going to beat him with that, but you'll definitely do some damage, and an elbow drop onto Typhoon. Well, of course, it's too early to celebrate if you're Jimmy Garvin. But yeah, these two guys, or these two teams, I should say, excuse me, it's very hotly contested in this tag team division. I mean, you not only have the Natural Disasters, but you definitely have the tag team champions, the Mario Brothers, and you'll see them somewhere down the line. But of course these two are going to fight each other. These two teams are definitely jockeying for position here. And a knee breaker onto Jimmy Garvin. And now Earthquake, what's he going to set him up for, though? Oh, but then a kick right to the leg of Earthquake, who, of course, does not have any knee pads, which could be to his detriment, but... Ooh, nice leg breaker onto Earthquake. And that's definitely one way you can soften him up, is take out the legs. And a nice crossbody onto Earthquake. Let me adjust my microphone here. There we go. A side Russian leg sweep onto Earthquake. And a tag into Michael Hayes. Nice roll by Earthquake. An arm wringer and a leg drop onto the left arm of Earthquake. I mean, they went for the knees, but now they're going for the arms. And Earthquake comes right back up. But then a side Russian leg sweep onto Earthquake. And now, I mean, they have Earthquake in trouble. That's the thing about these matches, is that if you can get one of your opponents in trouble and keep tagging in and out, you'll definitely... Oh, no. Earthquake now tagging in Typhoon. Went for a drop kick. But now, let's see what Typhoon's going to do. Nice shoulder tackle onto Michael Hayes. Then a drop kick. I'm surprised Typhoon, being a man the size of like close to 400 pounds, could do a move like that, and now he just steps all over him. And meanwhile, Earthquake is on the outside, just going to try to recover as much as he can. And then just ramming the head of Michael Hayes. And then he just steps all over him again. Oh, and Michael Hayes fighting back. Then a neck breaker onto Typhoon. But then a whip into the corner of the Freebirds. And a tag right to Jimmy Garvin. And now a double axe handle on the left arm of Typhoon, only to get knocked down with a clothesline. And now what's Jimmy Garvin... Well, I don't know what Jimmy was going to do, but Typhoon fought back. Ramming his head into the turnbuckle, and again and again and again. Repeatedly. And Typhoon just goes down like a ton of bricks. I'll tell you one thing, Jimmy Garvin, you know, he may be small compared to the two, you know, natural disasters, but he doesn't have to take a backseat to anyone. Kick out at one by Jimmy Garvin. But yeah, Garvin is a very excellent wrestler, so he's definitely taken on guys much bigger than him. You know, bigger than himself, I should say, excuse me. And a head drop onto the canvas. 1, 2, no. Got him at 2. But you need to get the 3, though. Oh, and then a punch right to the side of the face, then a kick right to the back of Typhoon, and it looks like Jimmy Garvin is going to set him up for something. What's he going to do? And, whoa! A brainbuster onto Typhoon. I mean, it takes a lot of strength to do that, and 1. Oh, but broken up by Earthquake, though. And Earthquake being sent back to the apron by the referee. Now going for a chin lock onto Typhoon, which, of course, that's not going to get the submission, but that'll definitely wear him down. Now whipped into his corner now. Nope, countered by Typhoon. Only to whip him into their corner. Now a tag to Earthquake, and Earthquake actually jumped into the ring. And a double back elbow onto Garvin. And now let's see what Earthquake's going to do with him. Earthquake drops him onto the top rope, just like a clothesline. Then a knee smash onto Garvin. Oh, then a jawbreaker onto Earthquake. And ooh, nice spinning neckbreaker onto Earthquake. That's a very good way to take a big man down. and a tag right to Michael Hayes, who is the more powerful of the two, but that's not saying very much compared to the Natural Disasters. An elbow onto Hayes, but Hayes, nice head drop onto Earthquake. And now whipped into the corner, a neutral corner. Now wait, what's he doing here? A running Bulldog onto Earthquake, and now just blatantly choking him. And of course, the referee's not going to count that as a submission, even if Earthquake taps out. And now wait, what's this? A major head dropper. I think he got a lot more force out of that one than he did the last one that he did, or that he did the one before. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Typhoon was a little too slow to get in there and save his partner, and of course, Jimmy Garvin was right there to cut him off so that Typhoon would have to go around him, and that's another good strategy. If you can keep your opponent's partner from breaking up the pinfall, you might just be able to get him. Nice brainbuster right there onto Typhoon. Then a running Bulldog onto Earthquake, and then there's the super head dropper. And that definitely was enough to put away Earthquake, and Earthquake is a very strong man. But if you can use the man's own momentum against him, you have something special, and there's the winners, the fabulous Freebirds. And I'll tell you one thing, I mean, those guys are going to be top contenders for the Tag Team Championship, so the Mario Brothers have better beware of the fabulous Freebirds. But folks, we have more matches coming up right after this. Okay. So they'll be making their way down to the ring right now, and here we have a man who considers himself perfect at everything that he does in the ring. Wait a minute. The Big Boss Man? Now, the Big Boss Man is the man behind Mr. Perfect, but what's the Big Boss Man doing from behind? Oh, and he takes down Mr. Perfect. Although, I don't understand the meaning of this. Wait a minute, I remember now. Of course, on World Wrestling Federation television, Mr. Perfect's manager, Bobby Heenan, had made some very disparaging remarks towards the Boss Man, or rather his mother. And of course, Mr. Perfect was one of the guys that was laughing along with his manager, Bobby Heenan, more or less as an accomplice. But now, I mean, this match was supposed to be Mr. Perfect, the man in light blue, with the back of, how do I put this? The man in blonde hair is Mr. Perfect, and the man in the police officer outfit is the Big Boss Man. Well, Mr. Perfect's manager, Bobby Heenan, made fun of the Boss Man's mother, and of course the Boss Man took great exception to that, and unfortunately, unfortunately the graphics guy made him the winner. He's not the winner. This match never even started. I'll have to find out what's going on, but we'll have to settle this whole issue right here, right then. And let's see, who's coming out next? Well, we have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Now, of course, for those of you, some of you may not know, but this man is an accomplished competitor, has been the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, has won a number of championships, including the NWA United States Champion, as well as a multiple-time NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, Tag Team Champions of the World, as well as its lesser equivalents. But nonetheless, though, here you have Ricky Steamboat, and, you know, people say that, you know, some of the stuff that he does sets people on fire. I mean, he just lights up the competition, so much so that they call him the Dragon. But nonetheless, he's ready, and we'll find out what his opponent has in store for him. And here he comes, the Ultimate Warrior. And simply put, the Ultimate Warrior is a guy that has so much energy. I mean, he just comes out and he just goes absolutely nuts. And he just has a whole lot of fans in support of him. I mean, right now the Warrior is just grandstanding right now, but it's the type of thing that fuels him up, and it just builds him up. And of course, Ultimate Warrior has definitely been on the rise in the weeks leading up to this match. So, I mean, Steamboat has definitely got himself he's got his work cut out for him, and we'll find out how well these guys do. Neckbreaker onto Steamboat to begin the matchup. And a two-handed chokeslam onto Ricky Steamboat. And of course, Warrior is just going to go at full speed. And if you're Steamboat, you have to find a way to weather the storm from the Warrior, because if he doesn't, this match will be over sooner then I can say it's over. And now Warrior just gonna pound away on Steamboat's face. And a nice takedown onto the Warrior. Oh, nice counter by the Warrior. And now let's see what's the Warrior gonna do here. Well, whatever he was going to do, he didn't do it. Nope. And wow, look at the strength of the Warrior and just dropping him right on his back with that military press slam. Now has him on the shoulders. Another military press slam onto Ricky Steamboat. And could this be it? 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Well, I did say that if the the Dragon could overcome the Warrior's initial offense, that he would have a chance against the Warrior, but he didn't. The Warrior just did what he wanted to do and just dominated him. I mean, nothing against Ricky Steamboat. The man has accomplished a lot, but the Warrior was just on fire. And, I mean, again, it didn't really take a lot for him to dominate, but he did it. So the Warrior has definitely skyrocketed to success. We do have we do have one thing we need to take care of before we get to our main event, and the main event will definitely be worth the price of admission, and you'll see what I mean when we get to it. But we do have one little bit of business, and we will take care of that right after this. And there he is. I don't know what he has to say, but I have a feeling it's not going to be good, as far as I understand it. Well, let's see what you have to say. Oh, now he's calling the fans a bunch of cowards, huh? I mean, really, is that what you have to say? Yeah, you recently crossed paths with someone. Okay, so you thought he could slink away and forget, but you have a good memory. Okay. Well, what are you talking about? Oh, so he wants to see if Bret the Hitman Hart can back up what he says? If I understand it correctly, Hart doesn't do a lot of talking, but when he does, he makes it count. Well, speak of the devil, here he is. There's Bret Hart. And I do know that these two men have had a lot of beef with each other. That much I do know. I mean, Bulldog, he called him out here. A boring speech. Well, what do you have to say about that, British Bulldog? Two types of people in the world, kings and peasants. You never interrupt a king. Big mistake. So he's threatening him. Okay. So that's what it is? Yeah, that's true. You'll never earn respect from him or the fans. I mean, Bret knows he's good. He doesn't need to say anything. Are you done? Oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about him, and he doesn't care about what he has to say. Yeah, that's true. He's just not good enough. And he's threatened to kick his butt right now. And he's more than happy to dish it out, says Bret. Oh, he's telling that he's saying to Bret that he is small time compared to him. Is that what he has to say? But a load of the word vomit. It's time you close that mouth and stop acting like a child and face me like a man. Yeah, playtime is over. I will tell you that much right now. This pinky finger has more talent than your entire career. Oh, he's telling him that if he doesn't get out, he'll show him another one of his fingers, and I think I know exactly what it is, and I'm going to have to blur it out if that ever happens. At least in... Bust his lip, close his eye, knock out one of his teeth. Once management gives him the word, he'll put it into action. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. I mean, that was pretty good. I mean, British Bulldog, he didn't back down not one bit to the Hitman. But, of course, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to actually do it. And, folks, we'll be back in just a moment. We'll have our main event right after this. And, of course, for those of you wondering how this whole thing started, I mean, these two men, first you have Hawk. I mean, he and his old partner, Animal, I mean, they were tag team partners for years and years and years. But unfortunately, it has gone sour. I mean, especially with jealousy rearing its ugly head. And Hawk was definitely doing quite a bit, with, being he was named the #1 contender for the NWA World Championship a few years ago against Ric Flair, the champion at the time. And Animal was wondering, wait a minute, how come I don't get that championship opportunity? And of course, Hawk was like, well, I was just given it. I didn't ask for it. Of course, Animal at the time didn't and still does not buy that explanation from Hawk. But be that as it may, they had a tag team match not too long ago. Actually, it was actually a few months ago. Actually, now that I think about it, Animal, without the knowledge of Hawk, all of a sudden just turned his back on him. He simply left the match midway into it, and he left Hawk out to dry 2-on-1 against the opposition at the time. And as strong as Hawk was, and he did everything he could to survive, it just was not enough, and Hawk has not forgotten it. And it was pretty obvious that Animal was like, or actually he wasn't, like he said it to me straight to my face, that Hawk had held him down. Yes, they were great together as tag team champions, but Animal wants to make a name for himself as a solo competitor, and we'll find out which one of these former Road Warrior members are still is the best of the bunch. Match underway, and a knee right to the face of Hawk. Now Hawk is the one with the double mohawk. In other words, he's the smaller of the two men, and the other guy with the straight up mohawk is Animal. And then an elbow right to the back of the neck of Animal, then a gut wrench suplex onto Animal, and Animal is already in trouble. Oh, nice counter by Animal. But Hawk, not to be outdone, nice reversal onto Hawk, but nice reversal by Hawk onto Animal. And a double axe handle onto Animal. And another one. Oh, and then a stomp right to the hand. And whoa, he just he just deadlifted Animal and slammed him. I mean, it takes a lot of strength to do that to Animal. No, not even a 1 count on Animal. But of course, how many guys can deadlift Animal? If anybody could, it's got to be Hawk. And Animal, trying to fight out of this claw hold, delivers a couple of punches, one right to the gut and one right to the face. And Hawk going for those jabs onto Animal. Then a gut buster onto Hawk. And now Animal gonna pound away on Hawk. Then a spine buster onto Hawk. And now Animal is in control of this match. Then a body splash onto Hawk. As if Animal couldn't fly, he can. And now, wait a minute, Animal, what's he doing? Power slam onto Hawk, but is that enough? 1, 2, no, kick out by Hawk. Of course, it's easy to confuse one for the other, but you know, just because they have the same, they still have the same attire as if they were still tag team partners. But a nice gut wrench suplex onto Hawk. Now he picks up Hawk. Snapmare. But an elbow right to Animal. Then a head dropper onto Animal. Then a clothesline onto Animal. I mean, both these guys use a lot of power moves. So it's going to come down to execution and who wants it badly. One. Actually, not even a 1 count. But right now, Animal holds the advantage just a little bit. A snapmare. And then a punch right to the side of the face. And then a reversal with the elbow right to the gut. Then a neck breaker onto Animal. Is that enough? 1, 2. No, kick out by Animal. Then taking Animal's arm and ramming it into the canvas. No, wait. A reversed head dropper. That's... Wait a minute. Now Animal just trying to get himself situated. Goes off the ropes. And another body splash. Again, Animal can fly just as much as Hawk can. Goes off the ropes. Oh, and then a running knee right to the head of Hawk. And I'll tell you one thing, Hawk, he has a pretty hard head, but I don't know how much harder it is compared to that of Animal's knee. I mean, that's going to be a test to be sure for, but 1, 2, no. Kicked out, but just barely did Hawk. Now going for a chin lock. Just trying to crank the head, actually. You know what I mean. He's just trying to crank the head, trying to, cut off the oxygen, but a punch right to the gut and one right to the face of Animal. Then a headbutt right to the head and a nice hip toss onto Animal. I mean, these are two really tough guys, and then a clothesline onto Animal. Is that enough? 1, 2. No. Kick out by Animal. And Hawk wondering, what the heck do I have to do to beat him? And Hawk is drawing some power from the fans, but nonetheless, though. A snapmare onto Hawk. And, wait, what happened there? Then a neck breaker again onto Animal. Oh, wait a minute. Unless my eyes deceive me, and I can't really see that far and that good. Wait a minute. 1, 2. No, kick out by Animal. Wait a minute. Animal has been busted open. I didn't even notice that because, somehow the blood does kind of, blend in with the red face paint that he does have. And, oh my goodness, a side slam from off the top, or the middle rope actually, but just the added height and dropping Animal from that high. I mean, that would put away most guys, but not Animal. And then a takedown onto Hawk from Animal. Goes off the ropes. And another body splash and a pinfall. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Animal wins the match. And even though Animal was busted open, Animal realized in that moment that if he did not put away Hawk as soon as he got busted open, Hawk was probably going to win the match. So that body splash, having that been done 3 times, it took 3 body splashes just to put him away. But I have a feeling that this whole thing between Animal and Hawk is far from over. I know it. But for now, Animal wins, and we'll see what Hawk will have to do in the meantime. But until then, we still have our next show to go off of. Until then, this is your host, Henry Jacobson here. And I just want to say, have a great day, everybody.